Hello, and welcome to day two of everything you need to reduce the sugar in your diet. Today, we're going to be talking about what's really keeping you stuck and what to do about it. Once again, I'm your host, Stacey Portugal, and I'm a board certified life coach, and I specialize in helping middle-aged women lose stubborn weight, improve their health, and regain the confidence of their youth. Yesterday, we talked about a meeting of the minds and how by connecting your emotions to your desires, you can begin taking real and consistent action towards your goal. Did you have a chance to answer the questions from yesterday? I urge you to take just a few moments on the action steps that you're going to be seeing in these videos. They're going to help you move forward in your quest to reduce your sugar in your diet so you can begin to feel better and take control. And I hope that you listened and learned more by clicking on the resources that I left in yesterday's email. This is one way of creating a meeting of the mind so that passing up temptation and following through on your desires gets a whole lot easier. Reducing sugar definitely begins in the brain, but it goes beyond a meeting of the minds. Sugar is an addiction. Yep, it's similar to drugs. Your brain is actually addicted to sugar. Sugar is legal, it's socially acceptable, and it's addictive. In fact, studies show that the same brain pathways that we associate with drug addictions become stimulated by sugar consumption. Sugar stimulates those opioid receptors in our brains, similar to as if we were using cocaine. Cassie Bjork, a registered dietitian, says that, quote, studies suggest that every time we eat sweets, we are reinforcing those neural pathways, causing the brain to become increasingly hardwired to crave sugar, building up a tolerance like any other drug. In fact, research has shown that Oreos stimulate more neurons in the brain than cocaine. And over time, we see behaviors that mimic drug addictions like cravings, binging, and withdrawal. No wonder I ended up eating the entire sleeve of Oreos when I was only going for a couple cookies. Now, I'm not sure if this study is just a little overstated, but here's what I know for sure. If you're craving sugar, you're not alone, and it's not your fault. Sugar seduces us time and time again, and it's robbing us of our health. It's lurking around every corner, and we cannot live without food. So how do we go from cravings to control? Like any other addiction, we need to eliminate the source. Sugar is a carbohydrate, and foods that are high in carbohydrates are fueling this addiction. So in order to reduce the sugar in your diet, you need to start thinking like a nutritionist to have a better understanding of what you're actually putting into your body. So let's meet your macros. First, let's meet our friend protein. Protein is the powerhouse of your cells. It's the building block of every cell in your body, and it's responsible for cell repair as well as many other important functions. Proteins are made up of amino acids, some of which your body can produce, and some of which is required from food, and we refer to those as essential amino acids. Protein is a more complicated macronutrient to process for your body, so it does stick around longer, adding to the satiety factor of this nutrient. Protein is always a good choice because it fills you up and it keeps you satiated. Examples are chicken, fish, meat, and trace amounts of protein that you'll find in plant products. And I always suggest, if and when you can, to buy responsibly sourced protein. Your body needs a constant supply of protein, and it cannot provide for all of its protein needs. Fats are the sad, misunderstood macros. We think of dietary fat and the fat on our bodies, the adipose, as being one and the same, but in reality is that we need fat for a variety of very important functions, one of which is to carry micronutrients to our body for vitamin absorption. Fat is essential to keep your cell walls flexible, and it's also good for your immune function, your hormone production, and protection against oxidative damage. The fats add flavor and it adds satiety. You'll find fats in things like nuts and seeds, dairy products, animal products, coconuts, avocados, and oils, among others. Gary Taubes has been quoted to say that there is not one single piece of research to show that saturated fats by themselves are unhealthy. They are only potentially harmful when consumed along with a high-carb diet. Now, here's the thing. Fat has been just really demonized. It's a very misunderstood macronutrient, and going way back to probably about the 1970s, we've been told that fat is bad. So we tend to have a hard time accepting fat as an essential macronutrient. We should also note that for the past 2.5 million years, humans have relied on fat as their primary source of energy until the advent of agriculture about 10,000 years ago. Now, let's discuss the subject of this series, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the most overconsumed and underutilized macronutrient. Carbohydrates provide energy for the brain and the body. We store about 600 grams of glucose as glycogen in our liver, muscles, and our bloodstream. If you were to stop or reduce your carb consumption, it would take about 2 to 3 days to deplete your stored energy for the average person. This is the largest food group, and it involves fruits, vegetables, legumes, grains, and all processed foods, plus many other sneaky sources such as barbecue sauce and even yogurt. Needless to say, thanks to the processed food industry, we are consuming more carbs than ever. If you consume more than you need for your immediate energy needs, the excess carbs get stored as fat, thanks to the hormone insulin. And that's a really big difference between the fat we consume getting stored as fat and the carbs we consume. If we're consuming excess carbs, they are more likely to be stored as fat. I'm a huge believer in eating plants, also known as vegetables. So healthy and natural sources of carbs, also known as complex carbohydrates, are a valuable source of energy. So once again, the question remains, how do we go from cravings to control? What keeps us stuck, and how do we change it? The simple answer is the excessive amount of carbs are keeping us stuck, and we can reduce the sources of carbohydrates that add no nutritional value and only serve to stimulate our cravings for things like sweets, pastries, and breads. For today's action step, simply open up your pantry. Start to notice the variety of products that you keep in there. Is your pantry overstuffed? Do you have many cereals and cookies and a big assortment of chips for you and your family? Is there ice cream in the freezer? Let's simply start to notice all these processed foods that are in our diet currently, that are just in our kitchen. And let's think about what we commonly eat on a regular basis every single day. This is going to give us something to work with as we move along in this series. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about the first step to reduce the sugar in your diet. Keep in mind that we don't need to eliminate sugar, we're just trying to reduce sugar. Just reducing sugar alone is going to bring you health and weight loss within just a few days. So be sure to tune in tomorrow as we discuss exactly what to do to begin reducing the sugar in your diet right away so you can begin to de-bloat, lose weight, and feel more energetic in just 3 days. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next video.